So we've already talked about how to write a very good introduction in our previous video. So visit the page and look for that one. Now, process diagrams are very simple to talk about, but in every Ielts essay, you will need to prepare. You will have to know the areas, the points, and the vocabularies to use in order to discuss and then pull out your points to be able to write a very good essay on the process. Now, what you have to do with a process diagram is that you don't talk about range, unlike a line graph where you have to talk about range, and then a column graph where you talk about range. With a process diagram, you have to make sure you talk about each and every stage. Let's not forget that Ielts examiners are not looking out for how factual you are. They are rather looking out for how much you'll be able to fulfill or achieve the task, and then work within the areas of assessment, of which that should be the background for which we are writing the essay. In this effect, we have to make sure in a process diagram or a flow chart, we have to talk about each and every process in the diagram. So if you have about 10 processes in the diagram, you have to make sure you put all of that in writing by describing them such that you paint a pictorial view, or you create a pictorial view of it to the reader before the reader even looks at the diagram. So try as much as possible, discuss each and every stage in the process. Now with this one, you will need to write the introduction as we discussed. You will also have to write an overview for the process diagram. Then you go on to make a detailed description. Now, the overview normally has to do with how the diagram looks like. That is the brief summary of the diagram, a brief description of the diagram. You put it in a paragraph. Then, stage by stage, you provide a descriptive essay on those stages. Now, let's make sure we write very concise, simple sentences, and not to complicate our words by using variety of advanced vocabularies, because we are not looking for those things to measure your performance. Ielts is rather looking for how you'll be able to communicate with the person, how you'll be able to communicate with your readers, how you'll be able to communicate with the examiner based on the 4 areas of assessment. So in a process diagram from stage 1, tell us what goes into stage 1. Lead us onto the next stage. Lead us onto the next and the next. So at the end of the essay, you might have discussed and talked about each and every stage. So basically, in process diagram, let us discuss each and every stage. Write on every stage. Don't talk about a stage and leave the others. You have to make sure that the stage will also have to be chronological. Talk about the first stage and it goes on to the second, it goes on to the third. That will give us a smooth reading on what you have written on the diagram. Let's not forget, task 1 is all about 150 words with 20 minutes. So we have to use about some few minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, to prepare the information we are going to write on the process. Now let me give you a brief background of what process is, as I've already stated. Process diagrams, they are only describing the stages that something goes through. So you have to lead the examiner on gradually with very good vocabulary, very simple and concise description and ideas in your write-up. Make sure you paragraph your work such that it will be able to fulfill the coherence and the cohesion aspects of the areas of assessment. Your organization is very important, and how you put your essays across, how you put your ideas across, how you put your information across. But the most important thing is, let us have a lot of ideas on the diagram that we are writing on, that is the process diagram that we are writing on, and provide much more information by describing each and every stage. Now, you make sure you do not assume when it is not in the question. That is to say, you don't have to assume that something is there if it is not, but you have to pay attention to the information and then the elements on the process diagram that is given. That will give you a lot of information for you to write on, which is very important. This and many that you have when you subscribe to our channel. share this video, and thank you for watching.